to women who are fighting silent battles that we know nothing of, women in male-dominated space and making a mark, women in the public space cementing and taking up space, we see, celebrate and honor you. To each and every woman, thank you for being here. This is Stories Untold. I am Pulem Molebati, and today we celebrate our unsung heroine all the way from Northwest. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Koketso Muilwa.
19 years old, pregnant, and diagnosed with cancer. The teenager from Khanyisa didn't know a thing about this illness that would eventually change her view on life. Today, at 32 years, Koketso has fought and survived cancer twice. She explained to us how her lack of knowledge about this disease almost cost her her life.
It wasn't scary. You know how we always believe cancer ke bolwetse ba makgowa? Yes, I had that mentality ke bolwetse ba makgowa, ke bolwetse ba bagolo. So it never scared me. And later in the years, then it reoccurred. Then it did shake me a bit. And then when it reoccurred, I went through the whole process. I went through the whole chemo process and you know, that's when you realize, okay, this thing is actually not a child's play. And that's when I started researching about it. I started wanting to know more about it. And I went through it again, and I almost had another episode with it again last year, where I then decided, I'm gonna go for a permanent solution, which is double mastectomy. So I did the mastectomy, and yeah, then I'm good. Not that it would never come back. It might come back somewhere else because it does that. But yeah, the whole journey was the most painful thing ever, especially when I had decided to then allow myself to feel what I was feeling, allow myself to go through it. I allowed myself to be in the present.
Women in South Africa are amongst the highest to fall victim to cancer, especially breast cancer. And statistics show that many of them find out very late.
The community of Khanyisa, it means everything to me. It's my home. I grew up here. I was born here. I learned everything here. I discovered myself here.
This young woman wears so many powerful hats. She's an engineer, a certified life coach, a mother, a businesswoman, and a philanthropist. She is a true epitome of rising above challenges.
I'm an engineer, a civil engineer. I've been in the industry for as long as I can remember. The foundation is also it's part of me, in a sense that it's something that I'm really passionate about. I'm one person who's very passionate about people's social development, about children mainly.
Refusing to see her village battle with so many societal ills, Koketso opened not one, not two, but 3 centers in this community to cater for the needs of children, especially after school before their parents get home.
I then decided to create all of this, where now I built a platform where we can have kids that we are servicing at the soup kitchen, obviously, right? So if we're gonna be feeding them, go strateng or go koning, then what next after that? That's when I decided to go with the drop-in center. So I registered the drop-in center within the organization though. The drop-in center is where kids come after school for the homework, for psychosocial support and so many other things, but mainly to feed them, to give them food, but we didn't want the kids to just come and eat and then they go and there's no value to it. I mean, everybody can give you food, you know. So we decided to go the education route, and then we decided to go the psychosocial route and.
We visited Koketso Center in Khanyisa, and for this woman, love truly lives here. "20-year-old Tibatso, a grade 11 learner, is one of KM Foundation's registered students. We met with him and his mother, and they explained to us how this foundation gave them hope.
What I'm doing at the center is that I'm doing my homeworks, assignment projects, and I'm also often read at the center, practicing maths, extra activities. So what makes me difference is that when there were no center, like I was just often confused, like there were no help, there were no where can I get help. So at the center I got help, and I was often feeling like I can leave school once.
Nna ke lebogela thuso ya ko senthe ka gore mo gae bagolo ga re kgone rotlhe go ka thusa bana di homework. Yana center e re thusitse thata gore thusetsa bana gore ba ye go bone ba ba thuse di homework.
Tota nna ke a lebogela gobane ga se ba se ntireletseng gobane ga gore gongwe nka be ke ne ka tswela sekolo ke ne ke tlhole ke le mo tlhakatlhakanong hela ke se itse gore ke sa itse le nna tota gore la ke re ke dula hatshe, even if I try my best gona no there are terms still gore ke di feel mare gone go na le di changes, many changes ha ke tla go tsena go center gona ke gona go bona gore yana ke kgona go move towards, mare ha gone go sena center yeng sa khone like ke tlhole ke sokola hela go tlhole go le west.
Welcome back. In our very first episode in the month of August, we thought we should honor and celebrate our women, and today we bring you the story of founder of Koketso Muila Foundation all the way in Northwest. She is doing quite incredible work through her foundation, empowering young people and setting a perfect example to other young women who want to do better and transform their narrative as well as empower their communities.
For others who are in the same field of community building, partnering with this female force is a great opportunity for them.
When we came across KM Foundation as a community radio station, one of our objectives as well is to develop the community as we are a community radio station. And to come across a foundation like this in a small village like Khanyisa, where nobody thinks of this place, you know, if you want to think development, then you come across a foundation which is led by a magnificent personality and a team of people who are dedicated to helping the community. We thought, who else would it be better with to partner with, rather, in trying to improve the lives of our people. So that's why we have so many plans now that we want to unveil with them in an effort to eradicate these social ills.
Koketso uses her foundation to empower other young women, and her employees are the backbone of this organization.
My name is Madetsa Faith Mokhachana, and I'm a social worker in this KM Foundation. We're dealing with the individuals. It's mostly the kids who are using substance abuse. We're dealing with them by helping them with the individuals. Firstly, dealing with them if we see where it's too deep. We're having an early intervention and prevention for them, which we go for at schools for the life skills, to teach them about the danger of the substance abuse. We also have the one-on-one sessions where the kids have dropped out at schools. we're trying to go back to school and speak on their behalf, like, okay, principal, here's the kids, he dropped out at school, so can we please have the kid back? And also the ones who don't want to go to school anymore, we get them and bring them at the center. Okay, this is the importance of school. So what do we do as social workers to help you get back to school?
We accompanied Koketso as she visited her alma mater, and her former teacher, who is now the principal, had this to say about her impact in the community of Khanyisa.
She was just a humble student, dedicated, easy to work with, and you could see from her young age that indeed she wanted to do something in the community.
Now that she's doing that something in the community, what do you think of the impact that she has on the community of Khanyisa, especially looking at what she's doing for students?
Basically, I will say she's doing a great job. If you have, like, our village is one of the villages that is now being infiltrated by substance abuse. Now, she took it upon herself to make sure that she draws those kids from the street. I'll make an example about my school. She's the person that wants to make sure that her village that she comes from is developing in totality. Last year, 2021, she managed to give us some educators, people who will be assisting, who assisted our school in terms of technical mathematics, technical science, engineering, graphics, and design. Because, as like I said, our school is a technical school, and she did that because we know mathematics is a problem in most of the schools. And after she had given us some of those, tutors from her foundation, the results somehow improved. She's also assisting the schools, like I'm saying, the infiltration of drugs in the school, especially to these young boys and girls, because it's not just boys, it's also the girls. She had the social workers. I have a partnership with her foundation to say, every time I have problems and I cannot get hold of the social development, I know that I will send them to her foundation. And up to so far, all those boys that I've sent them to her foundation, I can see some differences in terms of their behavior and their academic performance.
Koketso is the pride of her family, and her uncle welcomed us into this humble home where she grew up.
Koki had the career and ke bona gore o tla flourisha mo go yona. I think why it's gore she's an engineer. That is the line and ke bona gore o tla flourisha mo go yona. But this line I say came as a shock to me for leaving that profession is very profitable. About to focus more community building, especially mo Khanyisa. I think maybe when she grew up, we'll experience the hardships that we went through as a family, as a community. Maybe when she start growing, I feel there's a gap. Bana ba ko gae ba gola without the proper care or guidance ku different backgrounds tse ba tswang go tsona mo malapeng are different. But let me take this initiative ke bona gore how can I uplift bana ba community ya ko gae.
Growing up under the care of her grandmother after the passing of her mother when she was very young, it is clear that love molded this young woman, and it would be the same love she uses today to take care of her community.
I'm very proud of what she's doing because situation is very difficult for growing for bana ba golang. there's a lot of drugs mo strateng bana ba na le access ko go tsona, and sa se dirang se trying to take these children advance mo strateng a ba keep busy ka something else se le gore se tlo go ba tswela mosola mo isagong. Ke feel proud gore ne I'm in a way though fale but very part of it, and ke feel gore not only me but the rest of the community feels the same way.
With gender-based violence skyrocketing in South Africa and making our women and children the most vulnerable, we thought in this next segment of the show we talk to men who are our allies in the fight against gender-based violence. And the same men who are also giving message of support to women are the same men who are speaking to men about the importance of protecting our women.
I always preach healing. For me, I believe that women are the strongest force ever. I believe that women, they get things done. No offense to men, but we are those people that when you really put your mind into something, you get it done.
This young lady is adamant that a healed heart can heal a nation, and she believes the same for all women.
We have so many things that we go through. We raise kids, we get married, we do a whole lot of things. We go through trauma, we go through so many things. Women go through the most, you know, and we become, I don't want to say we give up, but they also become, they shrink themselves, you know. So the only thing that will make you shrink yourself is when you are carrying pain or you are carrying something that makes you feel hey, you can't do it, you can't get out of that your shell, you can't do whatever that other women are doing. If we can focus on our healing, work on ourselves, work on our inner being, and know that you are capable of doing whatever you can do, then we can make things happen. There's nothing stopping you from doing whatever you want to do.
As Stories Untold, we celebrate women in this special Women's Month, and we asked the men in Khanyesa during the recording of this episode to give us a special message for women.
It's time to reflect. You know, we can never tire from reflecting, you know, as men. It's shameless. It's heartbreaking to always wake up to headlines of this having happened. I mean, the recent case in Krugersdorp of 8 women being raped, you know, by a group of men. You ask yourself, are our daughters safe in this country? Are our partners safe? Our mothers, are they all safe? Are you safe, you know, as a fellow South African in this country? I'll say Women's Month, for me, it's not a month to be jumping up and down and saying, Mbokodo this, Mbokodo that, but more of reflection. You know, let's reflect and say, what are we doing? You know, and really start to implement the choices that come out of that self-reflection exercise. So, and women must never get tired of telling their stories. We live in a society that is led by men mostly, you know. So men also, it's an opportunity for us to say, how else can we contribute to assist our country largely?
Women out there, kakwedi very special and ke kopa le tswelleng le tshwareng ka mo bogaleng. Ke ka lona re ka bona setšhaba sa rona se tswella pele ga le eme ka maoto le kopane le tshegetsane. It is supporting each other. Re sa nna re ntse re tla bona gore ole o tla fella ko kae a le monnyane yana a re supportaneng re tshwaraneng re build a very healthy and prosperous community up to society and the nation. ke kopa banna, please let's man up. These women, we are here because of them. Ga ne se bona re ka be re se mo lefatsheng mo. Ke kopa re tswelle pele a re simoleng re tlhompe bong, re tlhompe basadi. A re leke ka bojotlhe bo re nang le bone ka gore re kgone go ba sireletsa, re na le bokgoni bo, re sa tsa advantage ka bone ka gore ke batsadi ba rona. Ke kopa borre, please editense huba a re siletseng basadi ba, a re siletse bomme ba rona, a re siletseng batsadi ba setšhaba.
Hands off the women. Treat them like like you want your mother to be treated. Treat them like you want your sister to be treated. Treat them like you want your daughter to be treated. Respect them. Make sure that they are safe. And the only way to make sure that they are safe is if we protect them. And protecting them simply means that we don't have to be violent to them. We need to rather help them in terms of some advices to say, don't behave like this, rather behave like this, so that at the end of the day, we see that there is no violence between either a female or a male.
This community of Khanyisa will surely move towards a better tomorrow, with women like Koketo choosing to lead from the heart.
Ke mo leboga thata ka gone go thusa bana mo senteng ka gore o ile nthusetsa ngwana le ba bantsi ba ba thusitseng. Ha wa tota gone ke a mo leboga. Ke mo leboga go menagane hao a tswelele pele a ntse a thusa bana ela jalo.
She's imbokodo yase KM. Yeah, that's how she is. Ke role model a rona kaofela. Like Harry, I'm not a tutor or anything. Yeah, enka khona go thusa ka yona. She's active, utusa everyone at any given time. Hanori, no, you're not a supervisor or you're not a manager. Don't talk to me, talk to your supervisor. As soon as you phone like asking that I'm having a problem, she's there. And only later she'll be like, oh, Malta, you're the supervisor, why is that to Samas? No, she'll be like, okay, Dilaliona so, and then I'll find out what happened.
Once again, we'd like to celebrate and salute our women in their respective fields doing incredible things. You may not be on the show or on the media, but each and every one of you who is observing your work is empowered and uplifted by what you do. So we may not know you, but we salute you from everywhere across the South African landscape. From myself, Pile Mulebati, and the rest of an all-woman team, Stories Untold. Enjoy the rest of your Women's Month.